both sides of the conversation here. Y'all know what it is.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out. The Cultural Center and myself have been talking about what are things that we can do to bring people out, to have conversation, to be in space with each other. And we had talked about kind of this series, and tonight happened to be a night when these guys were in town. They've been here for a couple of workshops, and I thought it would be great to be in conversation with them to kind of kick it off. And then I messed up and said, oh, I would do something. And then earlier when I said, oh, I think I'm gonna chicken out, John Henry was like, no, you can't do that, it's too late. So I got Sarah to agree to do something with me. So we're gonna do a little something after this. And then Sharita's gonna kick off open mic because you all are in for a treat. Alicia Mayo is gonna do some stand-up comedy. Look, y'all already laughing, so you know it's gonna be good. And anybody else who wants to take advantage of the band or the space. You know, this series was kind of started out called In My Bag because there's so many kind of speeches or phrases or things that deal with that mean a lot of different things. And I thought about these guys specifically, and I know some of the young people have heard them speak already, but I really wanted to start with, when we talk about these stories of success, when we talk about how we make it and what we, what's helped us move forward, within the Black community especially, a lot of times folks talk about the matriarch or the women in the family, and I know that they've each shared stories about people that have touched their lives. I really wanted them to talk about being leaders in the work that they do and not fitting the traditional mold of what an author or a photographer or a writer or a teacher looks like, and how they stepped into that role or why they stepped into that role. So really just wanted to kick it off with, is there a person or a matriarch or a person that you think was fundamental to your success?
Well, I'm Devin Allen. I'm a Baltimore-based artist, most known for my documentation of Baltimore uprising and the rise after the death of Freddie Gray. Third time amateur photographer ever been on the cover of Time magazine, and second time cover after George Floyd, Tory McDade, and Breonna Taylor. I'm also known for being a photographer, and I'm Steph Curry's photographer. And I will say, growing up in Baltimore, it would have to be my mother and my grandmother, for sure. I'm talking about bailing me out of jail, car accidents, being shot at, just doing, my mother was always brutally honest with me about her past growing up in Baltimore, but, I wanted to find out myself, because it was already ingrained in me because of my uncle and my cousins, but they always was there, even in my darkest moments. And when I found out I had a daughter on the way, all the women in my family kind of wrapped their arms around me, all my aunts, my grandmother, and I didn't plan my life past 21 because I thought I was going to be dead before that, because I had lost so many friends to gun violence. I think my first friend, Umar, was killed over a dice game. I was maybe 14, and then after that, the death never stopped. I just buried 3 of my homeboys last year. We done lost mutual friends, and I found myself with this beautiful baby girl, but I just wanted to be, I didn't want to just be like a dad, oh, you just take care of me, I love you. I want to get a call one day that my daughter punched another girl because she said her daddy was better than hers. And then I'm gonna come to school all concerned, you don't hit people. Did you win though? When we get in the car, I'm a dad, and then we're gonna get McDonald's or some Burger King, But she inspired me, the first time I held her, it was I wanted to be larger than life. I wanted to be somebody she could brag about. And I found art. And I remember, everybody on my block in my neighborhood, everybody I grew up with, childhood friends I hustled with, they laughed and made fun of me. And the people that was there was my mother and my grandma. And I remember going to the camera store trying to buy my first camera. No one told me how expensive it was. And I got to the front, they was $2,000. I said, what? I thought I was trying to spend $200, And you know what I did? It's Sunday. My grandma got that new refrigerator. Let me call her. I know she got some room in that Best Buy card. So I called my grandma, Grandma, what you doing? She was like, first of all, you wasn't in church today. True. You don't call me unless you really want something what you want. And I said, Grandma, I want to be a photographer. She was like, I thought you was a rapper. I said, no, I was a poet. I failed at that, but this is my thing. I want to be like Gordon Parks. I want to, I want to do that type of work. She said, where you at? I said, I'm in the parking lot at Best Buy. The stuff's still sitting on the counter. But she came and I got it, and I got my first camera. From doing art shows, me and my grandmother and my aunts, hanging stuff up. And I wasn't raised around artists. I was the only artist in my family until I realized as I start moving into other mediums that my grandma had been a photographer the whole time because she would carry disposable cameras at the cookout and take pictures of everything. And my whole life has been documented since the time I was born because my grandma was documented, so the whole time it was already in me. But she believed in me and brought it out of me. And now it's funny, like my grandma was going through early stages of dementia. But one thing her ass don't forget is that she bought me that damn camera. She don't forget shit, but look, my grandma cussed me out the other day. She just gave me her house. She gave me her house, so I'm fixing it up. And my grandmother is funny. She was a God-fearing woman, but now she forgot she don't cuss no more. So she came in the house and said, "Nigga, what you doing in my house?" I said, "Grandma, who are you talking to?" But anytime I do a talk, she's front row with my mom, my little sister, and as soon as I start to tell this story, I always start off when people ask about my origin story. I tell her story before I can finish. Her ass stand up. I bought that damn camera, But I would say that was my foundation. They, my mother, my grandmother, they my rock, and they there every step of the way.
I'm Conjuani Fidel. I was raised by 3 grandmothers. Before I was even born, when my mother was pregnant with me, she got caught up in a drug epidemic, so she was getting high, my father was getting high. And before I was even born, my grandmother quit her job working in a bank. It was called Signet Bank at the time. And she had just got a promotion and everything, and she had quit her job so she could get her license to be a daycare provider so she could, work out the house, take care of me, who wasn't even born yet, and still get money, you know what I mean? So when I was born, she was my guardian. And I think around the time I turned 8, 9, that's when she officially adopted me, and then my little brother Twan, I remember going to the courthouse and everything. And that's my heart. That's the one who made sure that I am who I am today. And it's crazy because I never met none of my grandfathers, but I was fortunate enough to have both grandmothers on the east side and on my father's side. And I was also able to, be raised by my great grandmother Virginia, who passed away when I was in high school, probably 2009, 10 or something like that. But I'm a spoken word poet. I'm an author. I'm a professor at Coppin State University. I teach English. I work with different corporations like the Baltimore Orioles and Nike and Under Armour, and I've toured in the United Kingdom and taught classes at the University of East London. And similar to Devin's story, I wouldn't be anything without them. They the reason that I'm, the person that I am today, as far as just respecting people, having this grit, pursuing my passion, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it always been a woman that had us down, you know what I mean? On every spectrum of life, you know what I mean? Even when I was a kid, right? And I used to listen to rap music. I was raised on that, right? And this is I guess it's kind of funny. But guys, in the rap, they be like, oh, girls, gold diggers, and this and that, and I be like, well, I don't know any girls that ask niggas for anything because I'm like, all of the men live with the woman around here. They take care. They the ones who bail people out of jail. They the ones who put liens on their houses to bail people out. I'm like, they the ones who ain't got no covenant. They try to pay mother covenant. I'm like, I don't know what world everybody else living in, but I'm like, I never met a girl with a gold digger. But that was back. It's different now. But back then that was my perception. I mean,
You know some now.
now I understand the lyrics.
Now you
Trying to learn different, but in that small community where I was confined in, East Baltimore, it just wasn't. It ain't what they be saying now. It ain't give what it's supposed to give. It ain't get none of that. But that's just a short little, spill about my life and, you know, how I was raised. And again, like I have no problem with saying like black women are the reason. They still some of the hardest people that I ever met in my life. And they ain't care like anything that like represent a woman, like, you know, women ain't supposed to cuss. They cuss. Women ain't supposed to smoke in public. Everybody banging Newports on the corner. You can't everybody drinking Pepsi first thing in the morning. Everybody like, you know what I mean? And I think that that has a lot to do with, you know, the way that I act and I, you know, put out my energy into the world. Like I don't care because they didn't care about what the definition of a woman was to society's standards. So I'll never care about what the definition is of, you know, what a black man was supposed to be. I'm gonna just be who I am and what I feel for real.
Thank you guys for having me. When you introduce yourself, it's funny because I'm thinking when I first started coming down here and having an opportunity to work for Miss Davis and to work for Uncle Stink, it was Mr. James. It was just writer. But it's like, damn, it's like now I'm a television executive. I'm like, damn. You know, and what I'll say is two women that just come to my mind off the top of my head, and I just want to share. The first is my mom, and it's funny because we was just joking the other day about how I'm not a mama's boy. Like, she always wanted that son who's like, I'm gonna get my mama, I'm gonna be one of my mama. And it would be like, where are you at? And it's like, oh shit, he's not even in the community. Like, he's just gone. I always just been like this aloof, gone person. Like, never been clingy, never been the kind of kid who's, you know, I've always been like a distant person that lived inside of my head. But the best thing my mother ever did for me was, she lived her life, I don't know if this is a real phrase, but I want to say delusionally optimistic or optimistically delusional. I don't know, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because regardless what was happening in the neighborhood, what was happening with the government, what fucking George Bush was doing, she literally completed everything she wanted to complete at her own pace. And I'm not, when I say this, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. I watched my mother go to a 2-year college for like 20 years, no bullshit. Like, not even trying to be funny. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but think about, because, and this is what a lot of black women, a lot of black people, but especially black women have to go through in society. You don't have the luxury to just fucking sit back and go to school. Because even if you don't have kids, you taking care of grandmother, you taking care of aunt, you taking care of uncle, you taking care of your bum ass brothers. You literally doing any and everything that somebody else is supposed to do, and you putting your dream on hold. And my mother put her dream on hold, and it took her some time to get it, but she got it, and I thank her for never giving up, and it's why the word quit is not in my vocabulary. Like, if my daughter, kicked another kid in the face, I would be upset. But if she quit something, I might not talk to her for a day or two. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously I don't want my daughter to kick other people, but it's that serious. And then the other is my grandma, because my grandmother had more weight on her than, my grandmother died in her early 60s, and she died because my cousins, they stressed her out so much. She did everything. She took care of, like, people didn't even say, hey, are you busy? Are you free? Do you mind if I drop my kids off? They would drop their kids off at her house with no money. And they knew she ain't have no money like that. You know what I'm saying? And, but when it came time for her to go to the market and get groceries and stuff like that, it was me and my other cousins that was like 6 and 7 years old running to go carry the groceries while the older people dropping their kids off was nowhere in sight. And I think just seeing how, You know, because I was one of them kids who, like, even though I was, you know, we were poor, it was this really, really ridiculous show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and I strangely was like, I deserve that, like, with no context. So I'm like, you know, like, y'all eat Cheerios, like they're not even honey nut, like I'm not like store brand, you know what I'm saying? I was that little kid. So with her not having anything and her fighting for everything, and she never complained. She never complained about anything. So just in her memory, she was really young when I died. I mean, I was really young when she died, but in her memory, I don't complain.
So I wanted to, and thank you for that, because I think so many times, like, there is, for me, like a sense of healing in the story, and I think that there's also shame in some of the stories, and so some of the stuff that you share, typically in days of old, you'd be like, well, I'm not gonna tell nobody, you know, all of those things, but in that journey or in where you are, like this, like, how do you become an author or a photographer? Like, how does your picture end up in Time magazine?
I was holding his hand.
Don't listen to him. He was outside with me though. No, it was one of these things, like, I'm one of the people where when people tell me I can't do something, I go do it, you know? So, I remember sitting on the stoop, you know, and when I made it my point, when my daughter was born, that I wasn't gonna hustle no more, you know? So I'm like working this like dead-end job, 9 to 5, sitting in this little cubicle pushing papers, like, this can't be the rest of my life. And I was just like, I was triggered because I would come outside and all my homeboys got the whips, they got the design on, and I got my little Stacey Adams dress shoes, my khakis, my shirt buttoned up. And you know they was making fun of me, like, you need to just come back outside, get to the money. I'm like, nah.
You wear no Stacey Adams, you just bought those.
They the only dress shoes I need. I don't know nothing about dress shoes. That's the only dress shoe I need. My grandmama used to buy them for me on Easter, and I put the little single on Easter Sunday. That's the only dress shoe I need, you know? So that's what I went. I think I had some Steve Madden's or something, I don't know, but, and when one of my friends, we were total polar opposites. He was like the star athlete, I failed off the team. He was, you know, I'm going to the Army and all this other stuff. I was hitting sales on the side of the building and getting in a fight to getting put out of school. But we remained friends. And he went to Iraq, came back, and he was into poetry. And to make money on the side, I started throwing parties in the community because I knew a lot of people. And he was like, yo, let's do a poetry night. And I was like, man, I don't know about no poetry in the hood. He was like, yo, trust me, bro. Like, yo, women love that. I said, all right, man, we got a poetry like that. Well, let's go find a venue. That's all you had to say. So, you know, but poetry wasn't my thing. I was horrible. I was horrible. So, but then I found photography because Instagram just had came out. So everybody was wearing like these H&M and Urban Outfitter like graphic tees. So I'm like, we would take his little like point and shoot camera, take the pictures and put them on t-shirts and sell them at the poetry night. But then I fell in love with the human interaction and how people would act once they get the lens on them and the camera. So studying, like my mother always said, to know where you're going, you gotta know where you came from, study the past. So I studied Gordon Parks and you know, Anthony Barboza and Jamel Shabazz and Curry May Wings and all these iconic black photographers. They're legends, you know, and as I studied Gordon Parks, it was one body of work that really stuck out to me. Like I love his work of, you know, you gotta think about, he was a true Renaissance man, you know, one of the first black photographers to shoot for Vogue. You know, you're talking about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you know, Muhammad Ali, you know, and I'm like, I want to be this guy. You know, he the reason Shad, he directed Shad, the Learning Tree, the first black artist to actually write a book, get it turned into a movie, and help write the music. You know, and he was a slick guy, slick back. He the reason why I got so many jean shirts, because that's what he used to wear. That's how much I admired him, and I set out to do that. And it was this one story he documented, the gangs in Harlem. So he was working on a story about crime in America. So he was following the police officers. He was sitting in the police officer, I want to document the gangs, like who do I talk to? And it was this guy, I believe his name was Riggs. He was like, bro, that's the leader of the gangs right there. It's like this 17-year-old kid. He was like, well, I'm gonna go document it. You know, so now, I'm sitting on the block after looking at this story, I can document these same things, but they're not seen as art. You know, so I was like, well, My homeboys hustling on the corner. My homeboys are dying and wrecking up, getting shot at. We on the block all day. So I'm gonna just start documenting what's right in front of me. And I started to do that. And I think the turning point for me, Gordon Parks had this quote that says, "The camera is a weapon against everything that I hate: poverty, racism, and gentrification, all of that." He hated it all, and the camera was his weapon to reveal and dismantle these things. And I was like, the camera's my weapon. And I remember, and that's how I found my voice. And in 2011, my friend Sean Gamble got into an altercation with an off-duty police officer. The off-duty police officer, a black man, pulled his gun out. On-duty police officers just saw a black man in front of a club with a gun and started firing, killing the police officer and killing my friend. Not knowing that he was even a police officer, and killed my friend in the midst. And I remember all my friends from high school going to protest, but at that point, I just was on the corner. I don't see no power in going to protest. But fast forward, Mike Brown, in Baltimore, we rallied behind Ferguson, and we have our own protests. That's one thing I love about Baltimore. If something happened, they protested. Like, they in solidarity with all the smoke. We with all the smoke. And I went to my very first protest for Mike Brown, and that's when I understood what Gordon was talking about. So with Freddie Gray, when I found out about Freddie Gray, Baltimore's so small, me and Freddie Gray had mutual friends, so I actually got the video of Freddie Gray before he even died in the group text through multiple people in the group text with my friends. And I was like, I'm going to every protest, and I documented up until his death. And what I was doing, what's interesting about Baltimore, anywhere I go in the world, I'm talking about I've been in Tokyo, Beijing, Seoul, London, and the first thing everybody asks me, is it like The Wire? Is it just like The Wire? That's what they ask me. But I know the narrative that's going to come out. Freddie Gray had a knife on him. Straight demonizing. They're going to demonize my community. They're going to talk about all the issues. It was like, no, I'm going to counteract that. I'm going to take a page out of Gordon Parks. I'm going to move faster than media. And then that's what I did. The camera that I had Wi-Fi on. So what I would do is I would take the pictures and then I would Wi-Fi to my phone. And I'm talking about in the midst of being clashing with the police. We was in martial law. We had National Guard there, police officers from New York, Philly, everything. But I would take the picture, put it on social media. So this was before CNN was reporting. Nobody was reporting. People didn't even know what was going on. But they found my page. So when Time reached out to me, I was literally on Penn between, National Guard and protesters. And they called my phone. And that led to a full spread in the magazine. And mind you, at this time, now that I think about it, I don't know anything about copyrights. I just was trying to get the story out there, and I remember going to sleep and waking up the next day with the cover of Time magazine, and it just says amateur photographer snags the cover of Time magazine. And then from there, it was just go time. I had a voice, I had a platform, and then when everybody expected me to leave, I started a GoFundMe. Like, I'm gonna teach kids in the hood photography, so I can give them a weapon too, so they can speak for themselves. And from there, Russell Simmons seen it and then gave me a $20,000 check through Rush Card. And I never had a Rush Card though. And I thought he was gonna send me like a check, but it was really like one of them big ass lottery checks. So I'm driving through the hood, like through the project, everything, just trying to make it home to show my grandmother this huge check just hang on the back of my little hatchback. And that's when I found my voice, and that's when I started understanding the power of photography and controlling your narrative and speaking for yourself. The same editor 5 years later, George Floyd, that was my second time cover 5 years later. But when I set out to do those things, I wanted to be like Gordon. And in 2017, I became the first Gordon Parks Fellow of his estate. So I'm the first Gordon Parks Fellow. So, I think, a lot of that, is by chance, but it's the community around me that keep me motivated, keep me doing what I'm doing. In the process of doing these work, I made 2 brothers. They got the same moral compass as me, so they just made me stronger. So I just work even harder, in the community.
Kamani or D, whoever wants to go next, I think the same thing, like that there's, I know the first time somebody told me actually about your book, D, they had heard you on Fresh Air or something, right? Or KQED, or whatever it is, PBS or whatever it is on the NPR. Yeah, Terry Gross. And I think that the idea that you took the raw like essays and stories and told them in a way that folks picked up on them. But how did you get to that? How do you end up on, like, for folks who haven't, like, definitely go like Google Terry Gross and just understand how polar opposite the idea and notion of Terry Gross is and the B-side, right? And that you end up there, like, how does that journey happen?
Somebody somewhere is praying for me. And I'm saying that because, all right, so we talk about loss and we talk about what it's like coming up in the city. My cousin Daryl Gamble just came home from jail like 2 months ago. He just got killed by police like a week ago. He shot at a cop, and so it's not a big story because he shot at a cop and then the cop shot him. You know, our last conversation was like, yo, I'm gonna try to put you in position to do this, this, and this. I'm gonna come see you when I get back from doing this, this, and that. And then I get the text message. Yo, you know Daryl got killed. Who killed Daryl? Oh, police shot him. What happened? He shot them. The end. So, as far as, and as lucky and as blessed as I have been in my career, and I say luck, and people say, don't say luck, you work hard. I know people that work hard all day and they don't make it to this situation. So, I don't take none of that for granted. Like, it's times where I could have made a left instead of making a right, and because I made the left, the people who made the right get gone. But I made the left, and I'm here right now, so I don't take any of that for granted. But I think, and it's funny because I literally I gave a presentation at a Genius Conference last week in Mensa on moral imagination. And like we got into this real deep conversation about Charles Mills's epistemology of ignorance and how we willfully think that we like, you know, oh, I did what I was supposed to do, so I made it. And a sister hit me to this yesterday, and she was literally just telling me how I made it from where I'm from, but I didn't make it because the people who come from where I come from didn't make it. So I'm not anything because they not dead. That's why community is like always my first thing. Like I feel kind of, it hurts me to talk about accomplishments and things that I've done when I know there's so many people left behind. But how she broke it down, she was like, yo, I made it from where I came from, but after I walked through that door, right, you see this wall, you know, it's a quote that says every wall is a potential door, right? Us optimistic people, we talk like that because we have to always see a way out. Yeah. I made it through the door, but she said, after I made it through the door shut and locked and disappeared, and nobody else can go out in that direction because we have that one, and that one is you, and that's it, that's all we need. So, how am I here? I have no idea, but I will say there was a young woman, a young, beautiful nurse at a hospital who gave me a book when I asked for her phone number. I was having a procedure done, like I had like a little piece of little bullet plucked out, and I'm in a hospital, and I'm making a transition in my life, so I'm like, I don't really want to be in the streets. I want to do something different, but what are you going to do? Well, if you want to be successful, go to college. Well, go to college and do what? I don't know, nigga, just go. So I went, but I didn't have a major. I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm in a hospital, and I see this nurse, and she walks in, and she wasn't even walking. She was kind of like gliding. She might have been from Jesus or something. She was gliding in, and she had a book stuck to her head. And mind you, I've seen people read books before, but I just never saw a person locked in on a book like that. And when I asked her about the book, she said I would like it because this book is about thugs. And I'm like, I'm not a thug, I'm a college student. And she's like, well, everyone who comes to see you, they smell like weed. And I'm like, they have cataracts. Like, and she's like, explain the basement tattoos. And I'm like, I grew out of them. Like, they were dark at one point, they were good tats at one point. But anyway, she gave me a book and that book sparked my career, and I followed that book. It was the coldest winter ever, and I followed that book, and that book has taken me to so many other books, so many other different writers, and so many different places, from being a person who only cared about reading about experiences that related to me, to being a person who would literally read anything I could get my hands on. So this woman gave me something that was priceless. And and I always say this when people ask me about how I started. It's like, I just hope she's at like an event that I do one day, and I can I cash at her like a couple dollars.
So basically, when they told D, you need to change your life, you say, oh, I want to change my life. I just gotta start talking to a nurse. Still ain't get the number. But I just got one thing to say as far as it relates to D, and it was this was David Letterman got this show called My Next Guest Is, right? And he had Obama, and it's like I don't dislike Obama, but he just so slick where it's like you ever see like how like as we this fan, it's a safe space, right? You ever see like how black people be so gullible when it comes to a certain idea, and you like, I can't see how niggas got enslaved. You know what I mean? Yo, Obama is so slick. He like one of the slickest black people that walk the planet. Smart, his girl smart, bad, smoke Newports, play basketball, listen to Jay-Z, can like literally, right? So I'm watching this thing, right? And he's the first black president, right? That's like the biggest drag, like can't nobody top that, right? And somebody asked, David Letterman asked Obama, he was like, talk about you, like how do you think you really got here? He could have said any American manifesto, I got it out of the mud, no help, independent, don't need no. He said, yo, you ever ask yourself, boy, am I lucky? And I said, this weird. Like, he could have said anything. He said, I'm lucky, right? And I started thinking like, yo, like, you can do everything right, but there's so much stuff out of our jurisdiction that don't got nothing to do with what we do. And I'm gonna read this one quote by Toni Morrison, and it really sums it up, right? Because we think that, like, that's like going, like, my friends, they drive wild on the highway. I can drive. I'm like, calm down. It's not about you knowing how to drive. It's just people out here that's drunk, crying, eating, don't know how to drive, shouldn't be driving, texting, not paying attention, whatever. That's like, it's not about you, right? But she got this quote that says, the fact is, because like how like people go to orientations for college, and they be like, the future is yours, the future is all you make it, and it's like, that's a lie, right? And she say, the fact is, the future is not yours for the taking, and it is not whatever you make of it. The future is also what other people make of it, how other people will participate in it and impinge on your experience of it. And I think that's so important, because we think that, and then we be depressed when we do everything right. I got the right jeans on, right pants, like this. Why I ain't get a call back for the job interview? This nigga, because your name Tyrone, that's why. That ain't had nothing to do with you. You was born into this name, you was born with this zip code, you was born with this color skin, you was born with this, people having these prejudices like that. You can't control certain things. It's like, if we honest with children and honest with people as early on as possible, then we probably can like freak through some of those cracks of world.
So the last thing that I would just ask you all, and we do have some, and we'll figure out how we're going to give them out. We have some of the books from the guys here. The last thing that I would say, and you've hit on this throughout the conversation, is what's the, beyond luck, like what is the, because I know that, at one time people were like, Oprah says if you, success is when preparation meets opportunity, right? Like what is success, right? Like, because to your point, you can do it all and still not have it, but then you still got to do something, right?
I would say success is, what do you want? Like, what do you want your tombstone to say for real? It's like, do you want your tombstone to say, oh, this is just the nigga that made hoodies? Or do you want your tombstone to say, you know, a Virgil-like description, the person who changed culture, who changed this, like, what do you want your thing to say? Be like, yeah, my man used to take pictures at the parties. Or do you want to be, you know, the closest person to Gordon Parks that we'll ever meet in life, the person what time, like, what do you want it to say? And then also, I just feel like that you do have to be ready. Like somebody told me one day, I forgot who it was, like, yo, like, if Oprah called you on our show right now to come in there tomorrow, would you be ready? Right? And it's like, you just gotta stay ready, stay working, just be prepared for when people call you. Because the person might call you, they be like, yo, you an author, right? Be like, yeah. You know, we need 100 books next week. Where can we get your books? Oh man, I gotta text the thing and email the thing and dial up the other thing and all that. It's like, well, you're not ready. So I think that both of those things exist, and it's like, again, you can lie to anybody, you can't lie to yourself, you can't lie to God for real. So if you're doing everything within your power, within your jurisdiction, and you know that, then you can't go wrong for real. I feel like that's success, that's freedom.
Yeah, I think success is like my mother and my grandma always say to me, what's meant for you is yours. You know, it's not meant for nobody else. You know, and like in my career, you know, I be having moments where, you know, I feel defeated. You know, it's like opportunities that I was ready for that I still didn't get, or things fell through. You know, it wasn't meant to be. You know, my mom's like, yo, you'll get another one. There'll be another time. You know, and what I start understanding, what makes me happy is the next generation of possibilities, you know, because it was nobody like me roaming West Baltimore, let alone, you know, a person that I could be at a dinner table with Spike Lee, true story, and then go back home and be on the block, you know, and still get the same love, you know, like, and being able to maneuver all these different spaces and everything that I've learned in the world and bring it back home, you know, and then having a crew to do it with me. So my success is, you know, I have my personal goals. You know, I do want to be, when they talk about these times, I want my name to come up. But you can't pay for that. You know, some people find money is a success, how much money I made. The thing with being great and being one of the greats, you can't pay for that. You can't buy that. You gotta do the work, you gotta grind, you gotta do all these different things. So when I think about my personal success is when I lay my head down, you know, I'm one of the greatest that ever touched the camera, period. You know, but it's another set of goals that's real dear to my heart is when I lay my head down, how many cameras did I give up? How many kids picked up the camera because of me? You know, I'm 1,000 cameras in. I stopped counting at 600, but I know I'm at 1,000. You know, I just brought 20 down here with me. You know, I put them in a bag. So when I walk around my neighborhood and I see a kid with a camera, like, oh, I read your book. You know, or you came to my school when I was in elementary school. Or my mother told me about you and I watched all your interviews. You know, that's my success. When I lay down, when you know, when I'm old and I'm all shaking and shit and I can't even sit up straight and I'm just like, you know, I don't remember yesterday, you know, like I'm good, you know. I'm in a wheelchair, maybe Carney, he young, D the oldest than his Carney. You know, so Carney pushing me around too, you know, I'm pushing me around too.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna have a remote with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I'm gonna be able to push them from my phone.
You know, and I'm all old. I can't even hold a camera no more. I'm shaking, you know, and then, you know, and kids be like, yo, you gave me a camera when I was 18, and it changed my life, and now I'm doing this. You know, like I think one of my proudest moments was during COVID, and you know, everybody had on masks. And like I'm around my way in a local store. I still hang it to this day where I took my very first picture. I still hang with them and everything. And when this tall kid comes in there and they like, yo, you should meet Della Down, and I know you into photography. Dude tall. He's like, I know Della. And I'm like, you know me? I don't know you. He was like, he took his mask down. It was this kid that me and him taught, like in 2016, 17. We did like a creative workshop with Red Bull. And he shot past me and said, God damn, you tall as hell. I said, what you been up to? He's like, no, I'm home. I had to come get a shirt, but I got full ride to NYU for film. I was like, yo, I would cry in the car, but I'm like, yo, that's my boy. You know, and then like one of our other students got is at Baltimore School of the Arts, walking the same hallways as Tupac that he walked when he went to school there. So I think for me, my success is what I leave behind and who I inspire and who's gonna carry on. You know, Gordon Parks died in 2007. I didn't start photography. I never got to meet him, but I know his entire family, his daughter rock with me, family rock with me, you know, and to be walking in his footsteps. You know, he planted seeds that are still and being sown into us every day. So I get to carry his legacy, Jamel Shabazz and the Curry May Wings and the Dawood Bays and the Robert Houston, all these OGs that some work people never heard of, you know, I get to carry their name forward. So now I get to teach their work and I get to, you know, hand it down. It's the same thing that Connie does and Dee does with the words. They teach me about writers and black authors and stuff that I've never heard of, and that adds to the memory bank. So I feel like for us, a lot of it is just, you know, we do the work, we have our personal goals, we also, you know, dropping into that full bucket of the people that came before us and paving it forward. And, you know, and that's the thing about, you know, being a black artist, you gotta understand you're standing on so many shoulders. It's not just your story, it's our story, and we gotta make sure that we keep taking up this space and telling our own stories, because you already seen what the motherfuckers trying to do is write us out of history right now. So we gotta keep making our own books. Like my book right now, I gotta take a class because my book is No Justice, No Peace, because they got No Justice, No Peace from the Civil Rights Movement to Black Lives Matter. My book being attacked and not being accepted into certain schools, into certain spaces, because anything with Black Lives Matter on it or civil rights, they try to not let it to get into schools. You know, so that's a reality of it. You know, that we're dealing with.
As far as success, I'll say a couple things, and I definitely agree with everything they said. It's perfect as always. I'll just add to it. To my people who do community work, we've mentored people that went to college and got book deals and, you know, want to do television stuff and do great things. We also mentor people who are in jail and dead. And that's real life. It's real life, so don't beat yourself up. So just saying that, I will also like to say, stop comparing yourself to other people. That's the first thing. Number one, you know, if you can't look at Instagram and TikTok and have fun and get a recipe for making some noodles and shit and have a good time, if you get on there and you just compare yourself to everything you see, it's messing your brain up and it's giving you a reality that doesn't exist, and you gotta get it off your phone. It's not real. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when we talk about some of the things that we've done, right? Somebody told me not recently, but a while back, Devin Allen came out of nowhere. No, he didn't. Devin Allen has been taking, I don't even know, hundreds of photos, thousands of photos a week probably since before I even knew him. Like, he didn't come out of nowhere. He was in position to take those images for Tom because he was ready. Overnight success takes 10 years. All it is, I just did it overnight. It's no such thing as an illusion. So many people, and we got a young brother named Montez, who he just killed himself last week, and it makes me upset because he wanted to be a writer. He wanted to do poetry like Connie. I introduced him. I met him through my mother-in-law, and he used to come to my office and give me show me all of these dreams he had, and I was inspired to see a young person that was so hungry and who really understood that it takes time, but he didn't give it any time. Somebody lied to that dude, and it wasn't me. I told him. I was like, yo, I got like 700 rejection letters from agents. It took my first agent 3 or 4 years to sell my first book. I was already writing every day 3 or 4 years before I even knew who Uncle Stink was, before Miss Davis heard me on that radio show, Hydra. I think her name was Hydra. I was writing years before that, but overnight success, it takes 10 years. There's no such thing. And just because it takes 10 years, it doesn't mean you're not responsible for putting something towards that every day. Every day. Even if you want to be a writer, write a line, write a paragraph, do something every day. This man works on his poetry all of the time, so when he goes to do a performance, hopefully he'll perform one tonight. When he goes to do a performance, he's ready to turn stuff down because he's been putting work in since before I even knew how to pronounce his name. You know what I'm saying? So It's like we have to stop lying to ourselves, and we have to stop lying to these, especially, please God, stop lying to these kids and having them thinking that you just wake up in the morning and you just on, because it takes time, it takes work, and it's okay. It is okay. And then enjoy the process. Enjoy the process, because I'll say, this is the last thing I'll say, and then we about to get, well, whatever Ms. Davis want to do, but the last thing I'll say is this. If every day was good, if everything was positive, if everything is beautiful, if there was no such thing as rain, right? You woke up with like flowers growing out your ears every day, right? How are you gonna really appreciate that? How do you appreciate the good days without having a bad day? Bad days, rejection, people telling you no, things not going your way. All of these things are important, because without them, you would never be able to fully appreciate the good. Thank you.
So we're gonna ask Conwani to share something, and then afterwards, look, I'm putting him on the spot. I hope he don't be like, no, I'm not doing it.
Ready? He's going
Yeah, that's right, you better get ready. Yeah.
Well, no, if he don't do a poem, I'm gonna do a poem. And you know what that.
I was thinking he's going ready.
And then after that, then Sarah and I are gonna do something, and we're gonna kick it over to Sharita, because I know we got Miss Beverly and Alicia. Y'all got Alicia. You ready? Yeah, did she leave? Oh. All right. Well, you ready? All right. We're gonna hear. So give it up again for the panel.
Kendrick has this song called Love, and then he says, I'd rather you trust me than to love me. So, I was just thinking, like, love is like this universal word idea, that everybody says will stop war. Like, it could be 80 kids could get bombed in Paris, and they'd be like, we need more love. And I'm like, no, we need more bomb control. But it's like, and then you start thinking, right, like, how many people in your life that you love, but you don't trust? Like, how many people you gotta love from a distance, right? Or how many people will harm you, but then turn around and say that I love you as a scapegoat? Like, they'll physically, spiritually, one day be like, oh, but I love you. And you be like, all right, what else? Right, I need more than love. Like, you need to be loved in like several bulletin, footnotes, and descriptions, because anybody can see. It's easy to say I love you. It's hard to put your trust in somebody, to honor somebody. Right, so I wrote this poem called Love Is Not Enough. You see, I don't know much about love, but I know that in some cases, love is not enough. Love will have you chasing waterfalls and deserts. Love will have you flipping through the pages of an empty book looking for its definition. Love doesn't always equal loyalty. I understand why Kendrick said, keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to love me. Because what is love if the trust ain't there? Who cares about being locked in a room with him if there's always a fuss in there? You see, love will have you. Love will hold you. Love will choke you to turn around and attempt CPR without a certification. Love is an ice pick, it will poke you. Love is a pistol, it will smoke you. Love ain't always sweet like Smuckers, but it'll jam you up, that joint will toast you. You see, love will have you driving 75 miles an hour to your mother at 2 a.m. in the rain, with tears dripping down your chin, cognac on your breath, phone glued to your ear, red Solo cup in your right hand while you gripping the steering wheel with your left. And mommy is on the other end asking repeatedly, baby, are you okay? And you can't respond because your cries are a monster. Choking on a mixture of tears and spit, stuck in a three-way love affair. You take the bottle to the neck, crash the whip, or slit your wrist. Your family arrive at your peephole. They don't understand that your doorbell is only broken because your heart is. You landed the leading role. It got shaky on set. You don't even know what your part is. Mind missing, you don't even know what smart is. Your friends trying to give you your line, but you press ignore. Cause if you tell them why you in your feelings, they gonna judge you. As if they never been in love before. As if they were never on drugs before. As if they ain't human. As if they ain't never been bugged before.
Love will leave you broken, screaming Alexa. Play Death Around the Corner by Tupac Shakur. Alexa, play Madonna, Love Don't Live Here Anymore. Alexa, play DMX Slipping Cause I'm falling and I can't get up. Alexa, play a Baltimore Love Thing by 50 Cent. I'd rather use pinky nail to feed nostril fentanyl than to be here stuck on stupid. Alexa, please play Cupid by Sam Cooke. Love was born a bullet, I'm hitting shock trauma, I'm shook. Alexa, it seems like you're the only God I know who answer me on demand. Alexa, why love ain't got no do right? I've been fighting all my life, but what happens when your knuckles used to rearrange jawlines? Now your bones crack when you whisper. Alexa, I just want my Cinderella and glass slipper. Why is love the game of the century? I ain't no Bobby Fischer. You see, my chest panel lies a lonely king and a fraudulent bishop passing for a queen. Love is Rikers Island of Bing. I'm trapped, my songs I sing. A hummingbird in the trenches, but I can't locate my wings around here. It's saying flying be non-existent. Listen, love will have you. Love will hold you. Love will choke you, then turn around and look, love will have you, love will hold you, love will have you, love will hold you, love will have you screaming, 3-6 Mafia, they about to find your body, baritone from the depth of a mosh pit, your angel on your right shoulder saying try something different as you begin to smoke your life away, but love is not a 5-star stand. Love is not an all expenses paid vacay. Love is not attention. Last night it was in your face. Look around, them niggas gone today. Love will have my granny putting a lien on her house to bail my mother out of jail. Love ain't always fresh like granny's cookies made from scratch. You see, at times love be stale. Love will have you away from home. It's deep. And when I think about it, I ain't there to see my granny in weeks. You see, love got you running the streets. Crust living on the cracks of your mouth. Love got you scratching your neck. You see, love is the leading cause of death. But it's hard to find a solution when you admire the problem. It's hard to seek justice when your brother is the nigga who shot him. Love deposits souls, demand people for profit. Real love only exists in music, movies, books, and lockets. Love make me want to sell my soul. Use the proceeds to pay the unwitnessed scene that I've seen. Love is a bad day. Rent due ain't nothing but lip balls in your jeans. Love is a deferred dream. Love stinks like rotten meat. Love sags like a heavy load. Love explodes. Love. Don't be sticking to the G code. See, love will have you. Love will hold you. Love will smile in your face with a mouthful of pearly whites. I always keep one eye open. This love is switching up. She looked me in my eyes and said, love is all we got. I said, don't hold your breath, baby. Love. It's not enough. Thank you.
The safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God. Oh, trials be great. And the way seems to help me with, because I told Sarah. So I don't know if y'all, I was like, look, I went on YouTube, and I was like, they have all of these lullabies on there. And I was like, Sarah, I'm telling you, you can like gospelize a lullaby and put it on YouTube, and you can get some hits. She has like, every time I ask her to do it, she acts like she didn't hear me. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and get her on the spot. I'm like, give us a lullaby, because I'm like, I think Sarah can gospelify a lullaby. Is that Alicia?
Yes. There you go. Sleep, little baby. Sleep, little baby. You got to give me one that I know.
I don't know that one. Sleep, little baby. Is it called Hush, Little Baby? I think it's. You don't know that one either? Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Can I get a drummer? Can y'all hear me? Because I can't hear me. Can I get some gain? Can somebody grab the drummer?
Hush, little baby.
While he's on his way, y'all clap.
Clearly your mom did not sing you.
Don't you say a word. Oh, I said hush, little baby, little baby. Say, don't you say a word. I said hush, hush, little baby, little baby. Don't you say a word, because mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Don't sing. That word don't sing. Well, that was a good try. Thank you. Give it up for Sarah. She's a good sport. Give it up for Sarah again. Make sure.
It's the big name, Hush Little Baby. How you guys doing? Are you enjoying yourselves? I was just falling in love with those guys up there. They kept it 100, didn't they? And that's what we're supposed to do. My name is Sharita Evans, aka Riri. I am a gospel DJ at KPOO Radio, 89.5 FM, and I come on every Sunday morning from 9 to 12. So you guys definitely tune in, because you need God in your life. We were just listening to their brothers, and despite of their grandmothers and their mom, they definitely had God in their lives. So let's just give it up for God right now. Give a big hand. So before I bring up our first poet, I want to let you guys know I like to dibble and dabble and write and do a little poetry myself, okay? So listen to this. I can just turn it down just a little bit for me. It's called Follow Me Home. You ask me why I don't know how to tie my shoe. Follow me home. You ask me while I'm hungry too. Follow me home. The child says, I want to know how to be respectful. I want to know how to spell my name. I want to know my address. I have no clue. Follow me home. I want to say thank you, please, and may I. I've never been taught that. Follow me home. Can somebody teach me to be a successful, well-mannered, God-fearing, and a moral-having individual? See, I didn't ask to come here. I was kicking it with God. Follow me home. So please don't call me bad, even though it's what I portray. Follow me home, and then you'll know exactly what I'm saying. So we have our first. Oh, well, Miss Beverly, she turned it out with us last time, didn't she? Miss Beverly has to have the music. Come on up here, Miss Beverly. We're ready for you. Give it up for Miss Beverly. Give it up one more time for Miss Beverly. She said no. Just one, Miss Beverly. They want you to do one good one. All right.
Thank you so much. I want to first thank Dr. Cheryl Davis and her staff, her wonderful staff, for making this a community thing that the community really needs. She's a hard worker, and I love her for it. So I'm going to read from my book. And I was listening to those young men talk about how many years it takes. And believe it or not, I'm a witness to it, because it took me a long time. I was writing in college, elementary, and I have at least 5 books. But today, I'm going to read from my book. And this is about love. So, I want everybody to look at your friend, partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. I want you to tell them that I like the way I feel when I'm with you. This is the old school love. Yeah, I like the way I feel when I'm with you. When you smile at me, my heart jumps. And when you sing to me, all my love comes down. And when you hold my hand, I become strong. And I don't feel alone. Each day is a blessing for me to hear your voice. That smooth talk. And when you walk by, you mesmerize me. The beat, the rhythm, the melody have captured my soul. It has transformed into a night that's untold. Now, how can I go on without you? I know that you are invisible to me. Because you see, you belong to someone else. I know that if time will permit us, we can make bells ring. We can capture each other's mind, and we can shine through all time. Oh, become alive. And again, I start to realize you're not mine. I think of you night and day, hoping that you would display that innovative sound that makes me jump up and down. It's that thing that I'm desperately seeking. Love. Love. And more love. Yeah. I like the way I feel when I'm with you.
Now we're gonna come on back to the come on down. So we have some poets out here and we have some young people. So I want to call on Tanner. Is Tanner in the house? Come on, Tanner. Give it up for Tanner.
I know Brittany wanted me to sing tonight, but I'm just gonna do my spoken word piece and get out the way. I'm just happy to be here. I came to San Francisco like 2.5 years ago. I want to say from Louisiana. Attended Southern University before I started at USF. So I'm happy to be here. Shout out to Dr. Davis, Mr. James, Brittany, my boss, and Nico. I don't know who at. Shout out to y'all for me down. And I got a chance to go to the workshop that happened in like early February when I was interning at Mo Magic, and just as a writer, I just felt really inspired to see other black men just also on the same path, and just having that visible representation. They kind of inspired me to go just in a different direction, and also as I performed, like I was able, after that workshop, I was able to really muster in like on my craft and able to start like charging kind of like when I go to spoken word to do these engagements and things like that. So thank y'all. It's about homegoing. As we know, like homegoing is similar, you know, when somebody passed away, especially with this surrounded by the black community. So this one is just about homecoming, about my lineage, my grandparents, and stuff like that. So, no, right, sorry. Standing on the shoulders of giants that didn't wait for their 10 acres and a mule, but built it up from scratch, brick by brick. Bare hands, no gloves provided. All the perfect ingredients handed down like the family gumbo recipe. Love talks of generational trauma passed down like a rite of passage, that the blessings that were passed down get put on the back burner like the side dish for Sunday dinner. You can't get full of sides alone, put some meat on your plate, baby, my granny would say. I was able to run around with so much freedom while wearing every affirmation on my back that the elders spoke onto me that still keeps me warm at night. I had no idea I was running through holy land, no idea the tears that watered the very grass I ran through, the blood that was shed by the ones before me. I just saw I didn't have to journey for the land of milk and honey. All I had to do was just inherit it. My great-grandfather who gave me my name, Zion, meaning holiness, refuge, where God goes to protect the people from the evils in the world. At the tender age of 6, he was my first encounter with homegoing and what's left behind thereafter. He left me with a name with so much power attached that I had no choice but to beam like the weltering sun of a hot Louisiana June morning. There's life after homegoing. My grandfather, my mother's father, the love of my grandmother's life, transitioned when my mother was only 3. So stories of him and his life are shared as a family heirloom. A larger-than-life man with a voice even larger that brought even the mightiest of men to their knees with tears streaming down their face. Staging protests and walkouts during the civil rights movement for equal pay, he was a force, a gust of wind, and a smooth, deep tone that wraps up with the feeling of hope and optimism. He passed down his voice to me, so I've been told. There is life after homegoing. My grandmother, who I got to spend 21 years of my life with, a true trailblazer, grabbing degree after degree like she was in a shopping market, making it look so effortlessly in a time where effort was just not enough during integration. I like to describe her as if Maya Angelou and Diane Carroll had a love child. With the brain and force of Angelou and the style, beauty, and luxury of Carroll, she educated thousands without missing a beat. There is life after homegoing. I am life after homegoing. They set fire to systems with me in mind, built whole cities so I could sing a new song, be who I came here to be, create a foundation of love so I can truly be set free. There is life after homegoing. I am life after homegoing.
Mr. Marcus. Come on up, Marcus. Y'all can do louder than that. Come on.
Gotta pull it out.
Hi, Marcus.
Woo!
This is like a little short few words I wrote about me and my community. These are a few couple words that I wrote about me and my community, so I hope you guys like them. I'm from the Fillmore, from the weird weather, the church every Sunday, my big blue school by the beautiful water, the family dinners, from singing and goofing around with my friends, the cuddles with my dog, watching TV with my family, the smell of freshly baked cake, from a noisy street, from the warm snarls from neighbors, from the loud lawnmowers, the twirls and spins of the wind outside of my window, from the creaky stairs at night, from Mo Magic, from the loud music on the streets, from the pigeons everywhere, from the cousins, aunts, and uncles you see everywhere you go, from the cars and buses honking, from the Juneteenth celebrations, I am the Fillmore.
Thank you, Marcus. He has such a sweet spirit, don't he? He's just so, I am Fillmore. Yes. Now we have a beautiful young lady, and her voice is so soft too. So thank you so much for this. Come on up. Shania, Lanai? Lanai. Give it up for Lanai.
So, I'm going to be doing a poem that I made. Okay. Okay. A little girl once asked me why I act the way I act. Well, let's backtrack. 7 years old, Mama had a sissy, and who knew that someone do so small could be a life-changing series. Going on to 8, and I can't wait to escape. But I'm striking down in silence with duct tape. Going on to 9, my mama don't feel like mine. Going on to 10, I can't comprehend, and I can't seem to pretend to see the silver sin. Keep skipping mine, going on to present. I'm 15 now. Hey.
Great. We're here. Good. We're here. Great job.
Going on to 15, it's present time. Going on to 15, it's present time. And I've seen to outgrow, I've seen to find myself in this outrunning. So, to that little girl that I've seen once before, I hope she's proud for me for that one day that I'm speaking out and I'm here to say what I need to say, and I'm being proud out into this crowd.
Stand on your feet and give it up for her. Yes. That takes a lot. We love you and we thank you. Oh, yes, this is all good now. Y'all feeling it? All right, that's what we're going to do. So now we're about to bring up, Mayo is in the house, the comedian. Alicia, come on up here. Give it up for Alicia Mayo.
To be here on the stage with you. Back in 1988, I was the first female hip-hop DJ at KPOO. That part. It's a full circle. Amen. And in about 1981, I was on this stage with Donald Lacey, auditioning for one of my very first plays. It was called What Goes On When the Mic Goes Off. There was a love scene. He tried to kiss me. And I threw up. I was a baby back then, and so it is good to be back on this stage. I had to take a few notes because I am 57 now. I'll be 58 in August. My glasses are cute though, right? My glasses cute. Those young men out there in them streets, they think I'm cute too. Like, honey, y'all better watch out. You better ask your uncle. Play with me. You better ask somebody. Okay? Because you're going to need to know your CPR and your first aid when you get with me. Just having fun, not true. That is not a true story. But as you can see, I brought my special bag. Tonight's event is called In My Bag, right? In My Bag. I brought my special bag, ladies. My Jamaica bag. What goes on in Jamaica? Let me dig in my bag and see. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Before you take a trip to Jamaica, I want you to know they really do respect the Rastafarian culture, and that's important for you to know. Even when you see these modern Jamaicans, just remember the Rastafarian culture is deep and it's very respectable. But New Age Rastafarians do eat meat. But for you vegans, they also serve a lot of bamboo. You'll be all right. Okay. So the ladies, think about it. Have some fun, have some fun. Hey, you guys, at 57, I'm single and I'm dating. I am dating at 57. There's nothing wrong with that, but Dr. Davis, where are you? Please don't leave yet, because while I have your ear, there you are. Dr. Davis, while I have your ear, can I please make a special request? And it has to do with dating. I'm still on the topic. The problem is I'm looking and I'm having trouble, so I'm going to need an RFP for dating assistance, right? An RFP In other words, like a Rastafarian prince. Not an RFP. RFP, yeah. But I do, hey, look, the way I see it, we can include dating assistance in our reparations packages, right? For those of us who are over a certain age and we're still having a hard time dating, that was not a part of the conversations. And all of those reparations meetings that I attended, where you guys heard me ranting, I need some dating assistance, right? Because if I had known, if my parents had been, if my mama had been able to get it right, then she could have passed that down to me, right? And I wouldn't be single at 57 in Jamaica hanging out with them little Rastafarian boys. Okay, but it's okay, because they cook, they clean, they give full body massages, and, whatever I ask for. But consider that, Dr. Davis, that RFP for dating assistance. And about you uncles on Facebook still sending me these. Remember those? I still get those. Okay, so let me get in my bag for something else and see what I can find. About my cousins, they, them, theirs, yours, she, her, him, all of them, no offense, but if I don't remember the pronoun, please forgive me, because them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, this is my opportunity to sing like Dr. Davis, and it still is news. It's news on Clarity Media, that's the name of my multimedia agency. It still is news that Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got its own. It's got its own. Okay, now I got my singing in. Let me get in my bag for something else, but I gotta go to my nose here. Look at this bag I have here. Okay. So, if I've offended anybody, please don't take it personal. But I am from Double Rock and I will fight you after the show, so that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Well, there's always one in the family. There's always one in the family. And it ain't me. She's over on Facebook, huffing and puffing, sitting in the car in the dark by herself, saying that it's talk therapy. Okay, so it ain't me. I'm not the crazy one. But sometimes you will hear me on maybe public comment. Oh, I'm glad y'all got it. Y'all got it. Yes, you got it. Yeah. I'm in my bag tonight. I told y'all this is a comedy rant. So I'm a little funny and I'm talking shit at the same time. Get it. So listen, being from San Francisco means that you need to do your DNA. If you are a black person in San Francisco, because you might qualify for reparations, get your DNA ancestry done today. Get it done right away. And just be prepared, because you too might be the son or daughter of Ronnie Newt. He got it. You too might be the son or daughter of Ronnie Newt. Some of y'all may know Ronnie Newt is a Frisco legend. Pimps up, hoes down. He must be rolling in his grave right now because the pimps is down and the hoes are all the way up. All the way up. I mean, because if it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's up. But we all eating, right? That's what's important. I'm glad to be able to laugh with all of you tonight. I don't have to sit at home by myself laughing. Thank you so much for having me. I love y'all to death. I love y'all.
We gonna put her and Miss Beverly together, they can get a show. Give it up for the
5150
community.
home
Give it
tonight.
up. All right, y'all. So we're going to end this off with some good singing. The song is going to take us out and we're going to have a good time. I want to present to you guys one of our Bay Area own. One of our Bay Area own. One of our Bay Area own. Vocalist, songwriter, and actress. Put your hands together long and strong for Natty Soul Singer. Thank you. How y'all doing? All right, one more time. How y'all doing? That's what's up. My name is Nate the Soul Singer, and I want to thank you guys for having me. To all the gentlemen who were up here on the panel earlier, true blessing. To all the children, can we give the children some love? You guys did an amazing job. I don't know if all y'all still in here, but I really was touched by you all. So thank you for getting up here. So I'm just gonna sing a piece of one of my originals right now. And yeah, let's go. Y'all can snap. Can y'all snap y'all fingers? There we go. Time at the fair. Gave me the prize I already won my baby. Smile tells you all. Emotions inside you set my fire on fire. And I recall, do you remember our first kiss in the park? Let's have Yes, understood. Thank you. All right. I'm glad y'all can hear me. I'm gonna step back here so maybe I can hear myself a little bit better. Maybe. All right, now we're gonna do one that I think everybody knows, and I'm gonna ask you guys to help me sing it. I'm gonna start it off, and then y'all join in, okay? Okay? Okay. All right. Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song. I kinda like that. Killing me softly with his song. I really like that. Killing me softly with his song. We gotta keep that. Killing me softly with his words, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. Come on, y'all. I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him and listen for a while. Oh,
killing me softly with his song.
Now y'all gotta be ready on the next one, okay?
I felt obsessed with fever, embarrassed by the crowd. I felt he found my letters and read each one aloud. Oh, I prayed that he would finish, but he just kept crying. Oh, strumming my pain with his fingers.
What's up, everybody? John Henry, both sides of the conversation. Today, we are in the community. We are here in San Francisco at the African American Culture Complex tonight for the In Your Bag Tool for Success. What a great event to see all of the community, young folks, the folks out here to support community for what's going on. We had Director Davis out here, my brother D. Watkins, a number of other phenomenal folks here taking the stage. We had poets, we had some commentary, some other things going on, but it's all about building community. That's what we're trying to do here at both sides of the conversation. Continue to uplift the people, this Dreamkeeper initiative, the work that's taking place with the support of Collective Impact, Mo Magic, and a number of other community organizations that come together to make sure our community is supported. And it's events like this that continue to uplift and build community. When you have the opportunity to see the talent, when you see the things that showcase in our community, this is why we continue to do the work. We thank you all for tuning in tonight. Check out the live if you missed it on our YouTube at Both Sides of the Conversation. Continue to support your local black businesses and all of the community organizations that's out putting in the work. Thank you all for tuning in. Both Sides of the Conversation. All power to the people. We'll see you soon. Another person blessed. That's what we do. Continue to bless the people.